The ambush. The vast emptiness of space stretched before Captain Maya Chen as she stood on the bridge of the ERS Mercy, the flagship of Earth's humanitarian response fleet. The holographic display showed their destination, a small mining colony on Epsilon Tauri IV that had sent a desperate distress call reporting a catastrophic reactor meltdown. ETA to distress coordinates. 32 minutes, Captain, reported Navigation Officer Kimiko Rodriguez, her fingers dancing across the translucent control interface. Maya nodded, her eyes fixed on the approaching star system. Something didn't feel right. The distress signal had come through on all standard emergency channels, but there was something about the timing that bothered her. "Run another diagnostic on that distress call," she ordered, "and contact the other ships in our convoy. I want everyone at yellow alert." The ERS Mercy led a flotilla of 5 medical vessels, each carrying specialized equipment and personnel to handle a wide range of disasters. For 15 years, Earth had been expanding its influence through humanitarian aid rather than military might. The approach had earned humanity respect among most species in the galactic community. Most, but not all. In the command chamber of the Void Strider warship Inevitable Dominance, Fleet Commander Korak studied the approaching human vessels with his 4 compound eyes. His exoskeleton gleamed in the dim blue lighting preferred by his species, and his mandibles clicked with anticipation. "The humans approach exactly as predicted," he announced to his bridge crew. "Their compassion makes them predictable. Weak." His second-in-command, Sub-Commander Zex, approached with a ceremonial bow. "The battle group is in position, Commander. Weapons are charged. They suspect nothing." Korak's mandibles spread in what passed for a smile among the Void Striders. "The Dominion Council will be pleased. These humans have interfered in our expansion for too long. Their influence grows too quickly. After today, the galaxy will know that compassion is a fatal weakness." Behind the asteroid field that ringed the outer edge of the Epsilon Tauri system, 3 Void Strider battle cruisers waited in perfect stealth formation. They had spent weeks planning this ambush, creating the false distress call, and selecting this remote location where no witnesses would survive. Back aboard the ERS Mercy, Maya's unease had grown stronger. "Communications. Any response from the colony?" "Nothing, Captain," replied Communications Officer Vargas. "Just the automated distress beacon." "Captain," interrupted Rodriguez from Navigation, "I'm detecting unusual energy readings from the asteroid field ahead." Maya's instincts flared. "Full stop. All ships, emergency halt and." Her order came too late. 3 massive warships emerged from behind the asteroids, their weapon ports already glowing with charged energy. The first volley struck the rearmost medical ship, the ERS Compassion, before its shields could fully activate. "Evasive maneuvers," Maya shouted as the bridge erupted into controlled chaos. "Get me a channel to those ships." The ERS Mercy shuddered as energy blasts impacted against its shields. These ships weren't designed for combat. Their shields were meant to protect against radiation and space debris, not military-grade weapons. "Captain, the Compassion is heavily damaged," reported Tactical Officer Dawson. "Life support failing. The Hope and Solace are moving to defensive positions." Maya gripped the command rail until her knuckles whitened. "Divert emergency power to shields. Send our coordinates and an SOS to Earth Command." Commander Korak watched with satisfaction as the human vessels scattered like prey insects. "Target their engines," he ordered. "I want them disabled, not destroyed." "Not yet. The Council wants prisoners to study." The ERS Mercy rocked violently as another blast struck its port side. Warning alarms blared across the bridge. "Captain, shield generators are at critical," reported Chief Engineer Hammond over the comm. "One more direct hit, and we're defenseless." Maya's mind raced through their options. Standard protocols dictated surrender in such a hopeless situation. To save lives. But something in her gut told her these attackers had no intention of taking survivors. "Communications, broadcast on all frequencies," she ordered. This is Captain Maya Chen of the Earth Response Ship Mercy. We are an unarmed humanitarian vessel responding to a distress call. Cease fire immediately. The only response was another barrage that sent the bridge crew sprawling as artificial gravity fluctuated. They're targeting our communication array, Dawson reported grimly. They don't want us calling for help. Maya steadied herself against her command chair. Too late for that. Our emergency beacon activated the moment they fired. Standard protocol. On the main view screen, she watched in horror as one of their escort ships, the ERS Solace, lost power and began drifting. The Void Strider vessels closed in for the kill. Captain, Rodriguez called out suddenly. I'm detecting new energy signatures, massive ones, at the edge of the system. Before Maya could respond, space itself seemed to tear open as three massive vessels emerged from apparent nowhere. They were unlike any ship she had ever seen before. Sleek, black, with no visible propulsion systems or weapon ports. Yet they moved with impossible speed toward the battlefield. Aboard the inevitable Dominance, alarms blared as sensors detected the new arrivals. "Commander," Zek shouted, mandibles clicking in agitation. "Unknown vessels approaching. They're not in any recognition database." Korak's compound eyes widened. "Impossible. Our intelligence reports indicated no military presence in this sector. Especially nothing of that size. Sir, they're deploying something. Thousands of small objects, heading toward us at relativistic speeds." The first wave hit the Void Strider ships before they could react. Thousands of tiny projectiles moving at near light speed, tearing through their shields as if they didn't exist, and punching microscopic holes through hull plating, systems, and occasionally, crew members. Kinetic weapons. Korak bellowed in disbelief. What primitive species still uses? The second wave wasn't kinetic. Each of the mysterious vessels projected a beam of focused energy, unlike anything in Void Strider defensive databases. Where the beams touched, matter simply ceased to exist. Aboard the ERS Mercy, Maya and her crew watched in stunned silence as the unknown ships methodically disabled the Void Strider vessels with surgical precision. "Captain," Vargas called out, "we're receiving a transmission from the lead vessel." The main screen flickered, and a human face appeared. A dark-skinned woman with close-cropped silver hair and the bearing of someone accustomed to absolute authority. "This is Admiral Fatima Hassan of the Earth Defense Initiative," the woman announced without preamble. "Captain Chen, secure your vessels and prepare for emergency evacuation of wounded. We'll handle the hostiles." Maya stared in disbelief. "Earth Defense Initiative? I've never heard of." "That's the point, Captain," Admiral Hassan interrupted with the ghost of a smile. "Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some very misguided aliens to educate about the consequences of attacking Earth vessels." The communication ended, leaving Maya and her crew to watch as the unknown Earth ships that by all rights shouldn't exist, systematically dismantled the Void Strider attack force with terrifying efficiency. "Captain," Dawson whispered, "what the hell did we just witness?" Maya could only shake her head. "I think we just got a glimpse of what happens when humanity's compassion runs out. The reckoning." Admiral Fatima Hassan stood on the command deck of the EDI Retribution, her face illuminated by the tactical displays showing the disabled Void Strider vessels. After 30 years in Earth's covert defense program, she had hoped never to reveal their existence. The Earth Defense Initiative had been humanity's insurance policy, a secret military force developed in parallel with their public humanitarian efforts. "Status report," she commanded, her voice calm despite the gravity of the situation. "All hostile vessels neutralized, Admiral," reported Commander Ellis, her executive officer. "Precision strikes disabled their weapons, propulsion, and communications. No unnecessary casualties." Hassan nodded. "And our rescue ships?" The ERS Compassion suffered critical damage. 19 confirmed casualties. The other vessels are operational but damaged. Medical teams are already assisting. The Admiral's expression hardened. This was exactly the scenario they had trained for, the day when humanity's extended hand of friendship would be met with violence. The Earth Defense Initiative had been created by a coalition of Earth governments who believed that while peace should always be the first option, one should be prepared for those who viewed compassion as weakness. "Prepare a boarding party for the enemy command ship," she ordered. "I want their commander brought to me. And deploy containment fields around the mining colony. I want to know who helped set this trap." On the bridge of the crippled inevitable dominance, chaos reigned. Emergency lighting cast red shadows across the command deck as wounded crew members struggled to restore any functioning systems. Commander Korak dragged himself to the tactical station, green ichor leaking from a wound in his thorax. "Weapons status: all offline." "Commander," responded an officer, mandibles quivering in fear. "Communications, propulsion, defensive systems. Everything is gone." Those weren't standard human ships. Nothing in our intelligence suggested they possessed such technology. "Impossible," Korak hissed. "The Dominion Council assured us the humans were soft, focusing their resources on medicine and aid rather than warfare." A thunderous boom echoed through the ship as something breached their main airlock. Moments later, the bridge doors slid open to reveal figures in sleek black combat armor, their helmets concealing any features that might identify them as human beyond their basic silhouette. The lead figure stepped forward, weapon raised. "Commander Korak, you will come with us." The boarding was quick and efficient. The Void Strider crew, already in shock from the sudden reversal of their ambush, offered minimal resistance. Within minutes, Korak found himself being escorted through the airlock of his own vessel and onto a shuttle unlike any he had ever seen, a craft that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Admiral Hassan waited in the central briefing room of the Retribution when Korak was brought in. The chamber was deliberately intimidating, stark, windowless, with only a single table and 2 chairs beneath focused lighting. "Remove his restraints," Hassan ordered as the guards positioned the alien commander across from her. Korak's compound eyes adjusted, taking in the human female before him. She appeared physically unimposing, elderly by human standards, with none of the bony protrusions or venomous glands that signified authority among his kind. Yet something in her posture, in the cold calculation of her gaze, triggered primitive warning signals in his brain. "I am Admiral Fatima Hassan of Earth," she stated simply. "You attempted to destroy our humanitarian fleet responding to a distress call. I want to know why." Korak's mandibles clicked in what humans might interpret as nervous laughter. "You know why, human. Your species expands too quickly, making alliances, spreading your influence. The Dominion Council determined you must be checked before you become a greater threat." Hassan's expression didn't change. "So you attacked unarmed medical ships." "A calculated demonstration," Korak responded. "Your compassion is exploitable. The galaxy respects strength, not kindness." The Admiral leaned forward slightly. "Let me be clear, Commander. What you witnessed today was restraint, not the limit of our capabilities. The ships that disabled your fleet represent a fraction of Earth's defensive technology." She tapped a control on the table, and a holographic display appeared between them, showing a real-time view of the Void Strider homeworld. How is this possible?" Korak's mandibles trembled. "This is a live feed of Zokthar Prime." "Yes," Hassan confirmed. "We've had observational satellites in your home system for years, just as we have in every system of every species that might pose a threat to Earth or its allies." Another tap, and the image shifted to show the Dominion Council's supposedly secret military installation on Zokthar's third moon. "Your species made a critical error in judgment, Commander. You assumed that because we choose peace, we are unprepared for war. You mistook our preference for compassion as an inability to defend ourselves." Korak's exoskeleton seemed to pale. "What do you want?" "I want you to deliver a message to your Dominion Council," Hassan replied evenly. "Earth extends friendship to all who wish it, But we will not be threatened, and we will not allow attacks on our people to go unanswered. She activated another display, showing a small object entering Zocthar's atmosphere. That is a diplomatic vessel carrying a human representative who is, as we speak, delivering terms to your government. They have 24 hours to accept. Or what? Korak challenged, though his posture had already collapsed into submission. Admiral Hassan's lips formed a thin smile. Or we demonstrate that today's response was, as I said, restrained. 3 days later, Captain Maya Chen stood in a secured briefing room at Earth Command Headquarters, still trying to process everything she had learned. Before her stood Admiral Hassan and 3 representatives from Earth's united government. The Void Strider Dominion has accepted all terms, Hassan reported. Their fleet is standing down, and they've agreed to reparations for the families of those lost on the Compassion. And the Earth Defense Initiative? Maya asked. How long has it existed? Since before we made first contact, answered Director Kwame Nkrumah, head of Earth Intelligence. When humanity first detected alien signals, we prepared for both peace and war. We hoped for the former but built the latter, just in case. The public face of humanity. Our humanitarian missions, our cultural exchanges, our scientific cooperation. That's who we truly are, Hassan added. But we are not naive. The EDI exists to ensure that those who would mistake compassion for weakness learn their error quickly. Maya thought of her lost crew members, of the Compassion's destroyed hull. Will this change our approach? Will Earth become more militaristic now? No, answered Premier Sophia Nakamura firmly. We will continue as we have, extending the hand of friendship first. But now the galaxy knows what happens if that hand is bitten. As Maya left the briefing, her security clearance newly elevated, she reflected on what this meant for humanity's future. They would continue their humanitarian missions, continue saving lives across the galaxy. But now, potential enemies would think twice before seeing that compassion as exploitable. The stars seemed different to her now, still full of wonder and possibility, but also carrying a new understanding. Humanity's kindness wasn't naive. It was a choice made from a position of strength, and the galaxy was just beginning to understand the full meaning of that choice.